I think that we are in a really critical moment as society, as humanity. I do think it's important to think globally because we are all spinning around on this planet together. We are sharing and consuming the same resources. GIS is really helping to connect us, to connect our places, to connect our different geographies, and really make people's lives better.
As we've become more sophisticated at using GIS maps, I've become more and more aware at how these different parts of our city relate to each other. We use GIS mapping now to correlate the life outcome data for people living in the city, where the shortened lifespans are, where the low school performances are. You can see how one thing led to another very, very clearly. And so it gives you this ability to problem solve with so much more information to understand the root causes of disparities in conditions and to create a more just society.
I think GIS can help connect the world because it's such a simple communication tool. And so being able to use maps to communicate is really, really important. You don't need a language to understand maps. It really helps with communication between different companies, different organizations, even different countries.
Anytime it matters spatially how two things are related, and that's just about everything in this world. You need GIS. You cannot fight poverty without knowing where poor people are. You can't fight hunger without understanding what's happening to crop yields. You can't have universal health coverage without knowing where the clinics are. Putting that together is where the great insights come from in pursuit of the Sustainable Development Goals.
I really believe that GIS is like the eyeglasses for biodiversity and the climate crisis. The degradation of our ecosystems is having direct impacts on our health. And we've seen different viruses jump from degraded ecosystems. When they're stressed, they jump over to other animals and to humans. If you don't have those maps showing what is important, where it's important, then you cannot have that conversation about what should be protected. GIS is really one of the most important tools that's going to help the world achieve these biodiversity conservation targets.
At the end of the day, we're telling stories through GIS about our needs, our wants, our environment, who we share the planet with, and I think that's what makes us really feel like we are not that different. That is really what makes us feel like we are all united through GIS.
Dobre odpoledne, my dear Czech friends. Thank you, very nice, thank you. My name is Dominik Tarolli, and I'm originally from Switzerland, as you can see here on my slide. But since over 10 years, I have now the privilege to lead Esri's Smart Cities business at the beautiful headquarters in Redlands, California. And before I joined Esri, I was a co-founder of the software City Engine that was acquired by Esri in 2011. And just for reference, do you know City Engine, or is anybody using City Engine? Can you please raise your hand? Oh, good, good. That's really good. That's really good. So City Engine is such a powerful software. Therefore, it was also used in many Hollywood movies, like Superman, Cars 2, Independence Day, Incredibles 2, Game of Thrones, and so on. And if you want to know what here Gene Simmons from the rock band Kiss and James Bond has to do with me, then please join me today around 5 p.m. for my workshop, The Future of Smart Cities and Digital Twins. But first, I want to acknowledge actually Peter Seidel and the whole wonderful team from ArcData Prague for this amazing event. So thank you, Peter, thank you, Ran, thank you, Radek, and the whole team, and let's give them a big round of applause for this amazing event here. Yes. Now, today we want to talk about trends, and let's have first a look at the global technology trends, and then we will pivot to the 5 exciting trends in GIS that we are currently seeing in the marketplace. And then at the end, I have some specific tactical things that you actually can do today to leverage these trends. Sounds good? Okay, let's get started with a broad view about global technology trends. So have you ever wondered how long it took major innovations to become mainstream? So the adoption rate of trends or innovation follows a certain pattern widely known as the S-curve, and it goes through different phases, as you can see here on the slide. So for example, it took the telephone about 100 years to reach a 90% adoption rate, and you can certainly recognize that this was not a linear adoption. We see the same curve or pattern also for the adoption rate of personal computers, but it took the PCs only about 50 years. And the World Wide Web was even faster, and it became mainstream in just 20 years. And in an even more recent example, Facebook reached 1 billion users in only 8 years. So I guess we see here a very interesting trend. The curves are really getting steeper and steeper and steeper, meaning it takes less time for new technologies to become mainstream. And you might ask yourself, but what about AI? So AI is taking the world by storm, and the adoption rate will be most likely even faster than anything we have seen before. And not only faster, but also more immersive. And let me give you an example. So back in the days, we were sending vacation greetings with the text, "Wow, Italy," or like here, "Prague is really beautiful." After that, we were sending beautiful vacation photos from digital cameras or smartphone. Then even videos with better and better resolution. And today, full immersive virtual reality experiences that makes us actually feel like we're actually there. But this is a lot of data, right? So every single minute, just in comparison, we are sending over 240 million emails or 18 million texts. And this is a lot of typing, right? Or there are even 6 million virtual meetings or 3 million searches and so on. just this massive amount of data. But how much exactly? So from 2010 to 2018, the data volume grew from 2 zettabytes to 33 zettabytes. And a zettabyte has 21 zeros, just for reference. But then from 2018 to the end of 2025, experts forecast that we will grow to 181 zettabytes, or over 9,000% growth over the last 15 years. And while this is certainly exciting and there are amazing capabilities coming with it, it's also a huge challenge. How can we actually deal with this amount of data and complexity? And this is exactly the perfect segue for the 5 exciting trends in GIS. And since you guys are GIS experts, I guess you're not surprised that our first trends are digital twins. And in the intro video, I showed you our digital twin work for Zurich, and it's probably one of the richest digital twins for cities in the whole world. Why? It's not only beautiful, interactive, and integrates a lot of data, but also it involves multiple stakeholders in one digital twin, like the city of Zurich, ETH, the technological university, the Swiss rail organization, SBB, and so on. So we see digital twins practically all over the world, and they are digital twins for cities, networks, facilities, and much more. And ArcGIS is probably one of the best technologies out there for the foundation of a digital twin. Why? Because GIS can integrate a lot of data and then leverages it in different maturities. From descriptive, which is basically a nice visualization, and the more advanced, the more we are adding dynamic and autonomy to the digital twin. And the final stage, as you can see here on the slides, is an autonomous, adaptive, and decision-driven digital twin with AI. And if you are interested to build your own digital twin, but just don't know how to start, then I have good news for you. We presented the digital twin for Zurich this July in San Diego in front of 20,000 people. And we documented that workflow, and you can start to create an initial digital twin in 7 days with ArcGIS. And I will share the link to the article at the end of my presentation. Now, trend number 2 is indoor GIS. And indoor GIS is probably one of the fastest growing solutions within the whole Esri world. And we see explosive growth in practically all the industries. And I think it's not surprising. Why are you asking? Because on average, like right now, we spend 90% of our time indoors and have hardly any insights on what's going on in our buildings or facilities. And did you know that most buildings in the world are still maintained by paper, pen, Excel sheets, emails, and a lot of phone calls? And if you think about indoor GIS mainly as wayfinding, I have good news for you. Some of the best organizations in the world are using indoor GIS for wayfinding, but also to effectively manage their buildings, assets, facilities, and people in the whole infrastructure life cycle, from plan to design, build, and especially in operation. And let's have a quick look actually at the building. And a building is basically a very complex entity or object that is constantly changing, and you can get easily overwhelmed by everything that's going on with people, infrastructure, requests, emergencies, and all kind of data. So the big question here really is, how do you effectively manage this complexity? And again, currently, most of our buildings are still managed by pen, paper, Excel sheet, emails, and a lot of phone calls. But there is now a better way. Indoor GIS has now the ability to be the foundation of this digital twin by creating a system of record or a single source of truth that gives you the confidence of data accuracy in an even hectic or complex situation. And this can really help you to integrate crucial business data, avoid the data silos, and then get this common operating picture for several use cases like asset management, like safety and security, like space management, occupant experiences, and so on. And currently we see the biggest adoption for indoor GIS in public buildings, airports, train station, hospitals, office buildings, and so on. And this is a very exciting trend that will actually transform the built environment into living digital twins. Trend number 3 are smart cities. So the number 1 questions that I usually get about smart cities, what are actually smart city, or what is a smart city? Now at Esri we approach smart cities with an integrated approach with 4 pillars. Number 1, a smart city starts with smart planning that adapts to change. Pillar number 2 is a well-run operation with good government service. A smart city don't want to waste hard-earned tax money. Number 3 is data-driven performance, to make informed decisions with data analytics, and then last but not least, civic inclusion. The smart cities of the future are engaged and connected directly with the people who call it home. And one of the top priorities of smart city is a holistic planning organization, like, for example, the one you have here in Prague with IPR. And we call this approach a modern planning organization. And we see it as a holistic system that helps your planning department to do business better. With that setup, it's also easier to support key stakeholders like police, firefighters, and the whole real estate community and so on. Furthermore, we make it also easier for planners to do their work. So ArcGIS Urban is our collaborative, data-driven urban planning solution that you can leverage as an urban planning toolbox that integrates either directly or indirectly with the host of other solutions like Story Maps, Business Analyst, GeoBIM, City Engine, and so on. And I hope you're getting this impression that everything is coming together in one system that you can leverage for the benefit of your city and your stakeholders. And with that, we are actually already at trend number 4, reality mapping. And reality mapping, as you certainly know, is the process of creating accurate digital representation of the physical world using images, LiDAR, or both. And Esri's reality mapping capabilities enable you to generate photorealistic 3D models, point clouds, high-resolution orthomosaics, and elevation models using drone, aerial, and satellite imagery. So the 3D mesh can actually be treated as you would normally treat an imagery base map in 2D. Then if you have a vector layer, for example, this worldwide open street map layer of building footprints, you can then easily drape these vector layers on the 3D mesh itself. In that, it really provides an accurate representation of reality alongside with your existing GIS information. And this is a very simple concept that can be leveraged with your existing GIS system. And the final trend that is also rapidly growing on a global basis is data integration. And earlier, when we went through all the data and how data creation is really exploding, and this is really causing a lot of complexity and challenges. And again, GIS is such a powerful system to integrate and manage all types of data, as you have now experienced with the example of Zurich. Furthermore, ArcGIS offers you also that framework for creating and managing digital twin from different data collection method, structured, unstructured, 2D, 3D, BIM data, imagery data, real-time data, and so on. Now, once we integrate all that data, we have then also the ability to create more immersive experience with almost this Hollywood-like visualization. What you see here, I don't know if you believe it, but this is GIS data coming from City Engine and then exported into Twinmotion, a very powerful and easy-to-use visualization software. So the way how we experience our GIS data is changing, and I would like to invite you to join us in this movement. Now you might think, okay, I got it, the way how we use and experience our data is changing, but now what? Good question, and glad you asked. So what can and should you do after this presentation? And based on everything that I've experienced with cities and organizations all over the world, I truly believe that ArcGIS and the geographic approach is the framework to truly master, integrate a vast amount of data and complexity. This is really enhancing our ability to create understanding, finding solution, and make the world a better place. And let me conclude with this. Location is the ultimate integrator of digital twins. And digital twins can really play this major role in the future. And we have already amazing technology here today. The missing link here really is the human factor. So how can we better connect and collaborate to leverage data and technology? And allow me here to suggest a low-tech approach. So how about we start this journey together with the conversation right here at the check UC. How about to connect on a human level, eye to eye, to better understand and build trust in this fast-changing world? And if you're ready, I'm more than happy to start that discussion with you today. And I know the fantastic people from ArcData Prague will be more than happy to be part of your success story. So let us get connected and start something big today. And finally, just for you, I prepared some of the most valuable resources around the 5 trends in GIS. Just go to bit.ly/checkuc or scan the QR code with your smartphone right now. And please don't forget to join me tonight around 5 p.m. for a deep dive into the future of smart cities and digital twin. Thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to walk with you in this exciting journey. Děkuji. Thank you very much. Thank you.